Bahrain, one of the 5 Arab nations involved in this joint coalition, is a key U.S. ally in the region, and it's home to one of the biggest U.S. Navy bases abroad. Foreign Minister Khalid bin Ahmed Al Khalifa joins me now. He is also in New York for, of course, the UN General Assembly meeting. Foreign Minister, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
So tell me, in the full light of day, how unprecedented is this for Bahrain, and why did you join this airstrike?
Well, it's actually not unprecedented for Bahrain to join its allies and brothers in the region to fight terror and to fight forces that would cause instability. We did it in Afghanistan. We did it fighting the pirates and corsairs in along the Somali coast and the Indian Ocean. We did it to keep a watchful eye in the Arabian Gulf. And we did it before that, all when we came together to liberate Kuwait. So this is the another episode of fighting terrorists and fighting everybody who would try to destabilize our region.
Let me just confirm then, Bahrain took part in the air bombardments last night. How long, so you're confirming that, how long will you be part of that campaign? You just heard the Pentagon spokesman say the air campaign is going to last a long time.
Well, as long as it takes. We are partners with our allies, and as long the operations are required that we will be part of it, we will be. We used our F-16s, and they bombed targets where the operations took place, and we will be there with our allies as long as we are required to be there.
Can you confirm to me which of the other Arab nations that we've mentioned actually took part in the bombing last night?
Well, we've heard the president speak today, early this morning, about a number of countries who have participated, but I actually cannot comment on that, and these are details that, we would leave them to come up by themselves.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. As you can imagine, Russia has come out and criticized this, saying that it's a unilateral act, that it's not fully legal, that whatever happens then, the perpetrators, as they say, of this bombardment will be responsible for the consequences. How concerned are you by some of the protests already?
We're not concerned. Actually, what's happening is happening in our region, and we are the people of the region, and we know what's happening. We know that this is a threat to sovereignty and integrity of countries. There's a declared state that transcends borders. We know that this is something that targeted civilians and displaced them in the hundreds of thousands, attacked mosques, churches, people of different sects and religions, Yazidis, Christians, Muslims, Shias, Sunnis. This actually strikes at the fundamentals of the way our region have evolved throughout the centuries. So we will just not allow that to happen, and our region cannot withstand this deviated cult to continue within us.
Well, you heard President Obama make his speech today before leaving from the White House here to the UN in New York. He said a number of things, including the funding has to be cut off, the flow of foreign fighters to ISIS, and the hateful ideology. First and foremost, the funding, because that is amongst what keeps them going. And many of the states around the Gulf are directly responsible, one way or another, for a lot of money going to these people. Is that going to be cut off?
Well, this is what we have mentioned in the Paris meeting for the allies. This is what we have mentioned in the Security Council last Friday. And we said that cutting the finances to terrorists is half of the war. In order to defeat them, yes, you defeat them in the battlefield, but also you have to not allow $1 to go into their pockets. And this is something we are doing, and we're hosting a very high-level, important meeting in Bahrain in the next few days.
And what about the other part of this, stopping and combating their, quote, hateful ideology, as the president said?
Well, this is something that we're seeing now happening across the region from clerics, and we urge every clerics and every place of scholarship and in the Muslim religion to really stand out and say clear words in very clear terms that this is not Islam and they are not Muslims. This is a very deviated cult.
Now, there are so many pictures, and we've been reporting for so many years on the victims of this 3+ year war in Syria, mostly by President Assad and his forces against the other groups and the civilians. So many victims and refugees. Do you think this campaign will help or hurt Assad? And do you believe that he should go as part of this war on ISIS?
Well, we really need to find a solution for Syria that would relieve the Syrian people of what they are going through. This is a very difficult time for Syria. But this also takes us to a very important point, that fighting ISIS, or Daesh as we call it, is one battle. This is only one state that's been declared by an Al-Qaeda affiliate. And you don't forget AQAP. Don't forget the Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. Don't forget, other terrorist groups that are not necessarily of Al-Qaeda. Don't forget Hezbollah and what they are doing. They have also terrorized the Syrian people. They've also terrorized the Iraqi people and everywhere. So we need to have a holistic approach to the matter, and we need to find a solution to all of that. Yes, that confirms what the spokesman from the Pentagon said, that this will take time. Holistic approach will need some time.
Do you worry that your bombs will hurt civilians, will kill civilians, because you know that is what they're going to want to show to the world?
Well, actually, this is a detail, that only the military people can answer. But definitely we strive not to hurt the civilians. We are there to relieve the civilians, help the civilians, and rid them of this threat from the terrorist groups.
Foreign Minister, do you think the Arab nations who are part of this coalition, the many other nations that want to try to really stand up an opposition ground force, expand the Free Syrian Army, do you think now we can get everybody on board to focus on one group instead of spreading the money around and who knows where it goes to and just wasting time?
Well, we have a coalition. We have about 40 countries that express their interest and support for the operations against Daesh and other terrorist groups. So we do have international support. We do have, and we do see it as a legitimate way of protecting people and people's lives in the region.
Foreign Minister Al Khalifa, thank you so much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.